What's up guys, MasterFiggy here, and today I'm going to show you guys my classic Doctor Who collection. Those of you who don't know, that's Doctor from first Doctor to the 8th Doctor, that's the classic, and I've nowhere near that many. I only have about 9 different DVDs, so not even like in double figures here. But I just want to show off what I have so far. There are a few others that I want to get, but I would appreciate it if some people would actually comment down below telling me what their favorite classic Doctor Who stories are, so I can check them out. There's one extra one that I don't actually have on DVD that I have seen, which is Robot, which is the very first fourth Doctor Who, or sorry, yeah, fourth Doctor, which is the Tom Baker story, the very first one he was in as the Doctor. And let's get this video started. So I'll be starting this video off with the Mannequin Collection, which is the third Doctor in the Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons. Spearhead from Space, a lot of people would know that it is the first third Doctor story, and the first one in color, first Auton story, first Liz story. There's like a bunch of firsts really, and just talking about this one first, I thought it was very good, very entertaining. I really do like the idea of the whole we know ourselves that the Autons, like, are mannequins. Well, they appear as mannequins in this, and we know they're evil in that, but that sort of unexpected feel to like the Doctor and the others. I really enjoyed it, and it does sort of have that sort of espionage kind of feel in a way. A lot of people compare the third Doctor series to James Bond, and I do definitely see that. And the second story in this is Terror of the Autons, another great story. I personally don't think it's better than Spearhead from Space, but that's just my opinion. If you prefer Terror of the Autons, that's your choice. It's still a good story. The first Master story ever, and it is the actor who plays the Master in this, he does a very good job, and I'm looking to see if his name is on this at all, and I do not see it, but it's a good story, and I recommend checking out the Mannequin box set, because it does have 2 really great stories in it. So this is the last of the Jon Pertwee stories that I have, which is the Ambassadors of Death, 7 episodes long. And by the way, episodes in the classic era were only about 25 minutes long, so they were kind of short, the episodes, compared to what we're used to, 45 minutes. But yeah, 7 episodes long, the Ambassadors of Death. I think a lot of people underrate this story, and there are a good few people that still like it as well, and it is good. It's a very good story in general. I kind of see why some people might dislike it, because I do feel as if it's a bit too obvious in some ways, but I still find it fun. It does have that sort of James Bond feel to it, more in this one than in the previous third Doctor stories that I just showed. But so far, from the Doctors that I've seen anyway, the third Doctor, Jon Pertwee, is my favorite Doctor so far of the classic era. So next up, we're going into Tom Baker, aka the fourth Doctor, and we're starting off with Genesis of the Daleks, which is literally known as the #1 Doctor Who story ever. Like, it's on the sticker right there, and it is a very good story. This is the very first time Davros was ever introduced to Doctor Who, and Davros is very interesting in this. Like, I've seen him in the new Doctor Who, and he was all right. Like, when you first saw him, he didn't appear that menacing to me really. I found him very interesting in the episodes, I think it's the Witch's Familiar and the Magician's Apprentice. I think that's the name of the 2-parter episodes, with him and Peter Capaldi's Doctor. I found him interesting, but Genesis of the Daleks, it's very interesting. seeing Davros and how his mind works, the origin of the Daleks themselves, and I'm sure a lot of people know of the very famous scene with Tom Baker and the wires in this. I definitely recommend just checking this one out. Don't look up any clips, just watch the whole series. It's about 6 episodes long, and I'll admit some episodes do drag a little bit for me, but it's not too bad. Also, something that I found funny was, um, it has nothing to do with Doctor Who really, but there's an actor in it, and I knew him mostly from a comedy series from called Allo Allo, which is a British sitcom based in World War II, and an actor in that played a German officer, and but he never acted like sort of what you'd expect a German officer to act like during World War II. Uh, and in this, he very much acts, like very serious, like military officer, which I thought was kind of funny because he's nothing like that at all in the sitcom. So yeah, I just thought I'd say that. So next up we have Terror of the Zygons. I could understand why a lot of people wanted them back for the 50th anniversary, because this was the first and only time before that the Zygons were in Doctor Who, and the suits I thought were actually really good in this. The monster, of course, wasn't that great. The giant like creature, I mean, because they were on budgets back then, and it's not as great as it is now. But the Zygon suits themselves I thought were good. It's good to see u.n.i.t back, because I really enjoy stuff with u.n.i.t and the military in Doctor Who. The story of this I thought was alright. It was still entertaining. Um, yeah, overall it's a good story, and it's the last time Harry is a companion, I believe, in this. And yeah, it's not the last time you see him; it's the last time he's a companion. Um, but it was a good story, and it was one of those like few times you saw the Brigadier until like way later on, apparently. But yeah, Terror of the Zygons is very good. And now the last Tom Baker story is Pyramids of Mars. A lot of people really enjoy this, and I found it tough to really get into, to be honest. And I remember a few years ago on the Sci-Fi Channel, they were actually showing classic Doctor Who, and I remember this was one of the ones that I watched, or the very first one at least, anyway. And I just found it really tough to watch, and maybe it was because my mindset wasn't right, because when you watch like the new Doctor Who and the old Doctor Who, you do sort of feel it's kind of tough in a way if you're used to the newer stuff, because the effects in that don't hold up as well in this era of Doctor Who compared to now. And so I picked this up because a lot of people say it's a really great story. And I did watch a lot of the ones that I showed before. I did watch most of those before I even watched this at all, and I just still couldn't enjoy it as much as I'd liked. I definitely enjoyed it more than the first time I saw it, but I don't know. I just really found it tough to really sit through. Sutek, because I couldn't remember the name of him there, so I had to look it on the back of this. I thought it was an interesting villain, though. His sort of mindset, and but that was pretty much it. You could definitely see the low budget for this with the actors playing the mummies, because they only had three people doing it. So you could pretty much tell straight away, like, why there are only like three of them. I didn't really feel as if they disguised that too well. So now we go on to the seventh Doctor, which is Sylvester McCoy. And I said John Pertwee was my favorite Doctor. Um, that's kind of a lie, because actually Tom Baker and Sylvester McCoy as well were really good Doctors, or at least from what I've seen. And Remembrance of the Daleks, the first one I saw Sylvester McCoy in, he did a very good performance, I think. I think he's great as the Doctor. I think Remembrance of the Daleks is a really great story. I really love this story, and I love the whole thing with the Daleks and the army, and the whole thing going back to the very first Doctor in 1963, like reference to that, because he goes back to 63. Yeah, I just love little callbacks like that, and I think it's an absolutely great story with the Daleks, and I really recommend checking it out because it's my favorite classic Doctor Who story of all time. So, Greatest Show in the Galaxy, um, it wasn't great. I don't, well, I think the idea was there, that was good, but maybe it wasn't executed quite well. I don't know. I thought it was okay, but I just didn't think it was great. Sylvester McCoy does a good job. Ace does a good job. Um, the Colonel, I think he's a colonel or a captain in this. I can't see a name here. But I thought he was an interesting character. I thought he was good actually to put in this. Um, I think I might have missed something after, like, while watching this or something, because I don't know, there was just something odd about like the overall ending of this. So I need to rewatch this to try it again. But Sylvester McCoy is still great to watch. Uh, the chief clown here at the front. I thought he was pretty sinister. Um, but yeah, my overall thoughts of it was okay. Like, it just wasn't great. And my last Doctor Who DVD that I have to show you from the classic era is The Curse of Fenric. I think ideas in this were really great. Again, it's a lot of military stuff in this because it's based in World War Two. Um, I found it entertaining. I thought the Russian soldier was good. Um, I think the problem I found with some of it was there were some editing errors. Well, not errors, but I don't know. The editing in, I think, the last episode just felt weird to me at some points. I just felt like it was very sudden in terms of the jumps. Um, but I do like the ideas of the sort of like vampiric zombie sort of creatures in this, and the idea like behind like the old zombie movies when you're holding up a cross to someone. Uh, it actually makes more sense the way they do it in this, because I thought that was a very interesting way and a very clever way of incorporating that into this story. Well, you could have done without it, but the idea of it was done a lot better, and it makes a lot more sense when you think about it. But yeah, Curse of Fenric was a good story in general, just minor things that really bothered me. So that's all of my classic Doctor Who stories on DVD that I have. If you could recommend any stories from, the third, the fourth, or the seventh Doctor, that would be great. Well, I am planning on getting the third Doctor stories anyway, so you don't need to do that. But maybe point out the ones that are better. Yeah, point out some of the fourth one and seventh ones, because some of those don't look too interesting to me. But I'm looking to hear other people's opinions, and maybe they'll change my mind. Also suggest maybe some like fifth and sixth Doctor stories. I'm not too interested in watching first and second, just because I just don't want to watch Doctor Who in black and white. I have nothing against black and white films and that. I'm just not interested in watching Doctor Who in black and white. Um, but yeah, if you can comment down below, tell me some recommendations. I'd really appreciate that. Also, I am thinking about getting a box set that they sell over in the UK, called the U.n.i.t Files, which contains two stories: Invasion of the Dinosaurs, and the next one is, I think it's the Android Invasion. So if you think they're worth getting, please comment down below, because I'm really thinking of getting those, because they contain the third Doctor story and a fourth Doctor story. So yeah, if you think they're good, comment down below and tell me, and I'll get them. Also, I am getting a Loot Crate I recently picked up the newest one, and I'll do an unboxing. So subscribe to stay up to date with that. Like the video if you enjoyed this. Also, in the description below, I will have a link to Lootcrate, so you get $5 off, and I'll get $5 myself, and it would really help me. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Stay subscribed to stay up to date with more videos that I have in the future. Look at my older videos, and hopefully I will see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.